everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and yesterday was the Belgian national final for Eurovision, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait to hear what they've chosen as a follow-up to Loic Dotted. They've gone with Laura Tesoro, who, is it pronounced Laura, is it Laura? I don't know whether to over-Belgify it. But funnily enough, she's almost exactly the same age as me. I'm older by about 2 weeks, but she's the one going to Eurovision. Jealous? No, not at all. I'll get there someday, I swear. But in the meantime, we're celebrating Laura Tesoro and her song, What's the Pressure, which is in English, doesn't need translating. Well, my initial thoughts here. After watching the national final, but before hearing results, I knew not to get my hopes up, since all 5 of the candidates were rather bland. Now, hold on. Don't go sounding off in the comments just yet. That's the most painful part about it. All 5 of the songs weren't bad, they just weren't good. So on that basis, I can't in all good conscience attack Laura's song individually or the Belgian public for picking her song over the rest, because the main focus here is the song isn't bad. In fact, it's quite fun, she's a great live performer, it's uplifting, it's a nice little package. It's just that this style of song hasn't sounded current or relevant for at least 25 years or so, and so I might smile whilst listening to the song because I am enjoying it, but it's the same smile I wear when listening to songs like Josh DeBovie's That Sounds Good to Me. That's right, I went there. As I've said, not a bad song, it's just that all of the national finalists weren't all that impressive. I mean, Amarilla's had impressive staging, and Laura had the best stage presence, so between them I'm sure they had a good performance, but there just wasn't an overly impressive song amongst them. However, this is a balanced view, so we will discuss the good points. I've said it already, and it bears repeating again and again. It is not a bad song, by any means. As I've said, it's nice, it's bouncy, it's a fun little number performed by a competent singer who is confident on stage, and for what it's worth, there is an amount of catchiness to the song. Not memorability, granted, but catchiness, so after listening to this song just once, I could remember the tune better than I could remember the tunes of Parala or Sunlight so far. So it's got that going for it. Anyway, she looks like she's having fun when she sings it, and she clearly believes in what she's singing, which is more than can be said for a lot of Eurovision singers. That's not a comment on any of the ones this year in particular, just generally sometimes, like Cascada for instance. Look her in the eyes in her live performance and tell me that she's thinking about anything other than how off-key and out of time she's singing, rather than actually believing the words she's saying. I mean, how can anyone believe the words of that song? Getting back on topic. Laura, she gets into the world of the song from the very beginning, and she does her very best to convey it to her audience. And it helps also that she can carry a tune, unlike at least one other participant in that national final, who I won't name, but you know who I mean. Just look inside yourself. So, singer-wise, Belgium have definitely made the right choice. Bad points? Song-wise, I really think Miss Tesoro is capable of better. It's to her credit that she can really get behind her song so readily, but have we learned nothing from songs like Love Power in 2007 or Even If in 2008? Candy music does not work at adult Eurovision. It's fun and it's nice, but it just doesn't work. Love Power didn't qualify. Even If auto-qualified but then came last. Like, it was in a 3-way tie for last and lost that as well. And one could argue that it's not so much candy music as it is the same vein of soul pop as Australia's Tonight Again for last year. However, if that's what it's trying to capitalise on, it's gone right over the heads of the public, and, like, the way it starts, it sounds much more disco than soul, so if that's what they're going for, they missed it by a country mile. To her credit, though, it's not similar enough to any other song that I've heard to properly be considered a rip-off, moles, but it's also not close enough to sound like it's of the same genre as Tonight Again, or any other song that it might want to sound like. So, no matter how I rule here, people are going to lump it in with the cheesy 80s disco songs, which won't do it any favours no matter what I say. So as I said, I do like the song. It's just a bit of a miscalculation. So, rating out of 10, this doesn't take too much deliberation on my part. I'm going to give it a 7. It's fun, it's happy, it's dance-worthy and uplifting, it's got a motivating message, but it was the 5-way joint best of a mediocre bunch. It almost seems like Ireland were able to shed their bad luck with national finalists by just giving it to Belgium. That's cruel. But I will say, however, that if they're careful enough with the staging in Stockholm, they could yet stand a modicum of a chance. Not at winning, not even at troubling the top 10 or even the top 15, depending on what they're up against, but they could have a chance. A very, very slim chance. Now, how does it compare to last year? Well, let's not delude ourselves. Do you even have to ask? Rhythm Inside was a masterwork, and in my opinion, it was the real winner of the 2015 contest. Belgium were hard-pressed to find anything to even match Loic's song this year, let alone surpass it. And so maybe that's what they went into the national final thinking, like, that they thought, well, there's no way we're going to be able to beat Loic's song, so let's not even try? I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with the fact that this is the Flemish side sorting out, whereas last time it was the French-Belgian side. I don't know. So, yeah, none of the national finalists for this year stood a chance at surpassing Loic. And so, it's not Laura Tesoro's fault alone. To reiterate, What's the Pressure is not bad. It's just, none of the national finalists were bad. Just none of them were spectacularly good. None of them were overly impressive. Rhythm Inside, meanwhile, blew most of its competition out of the water in Vienna. It was hugely impressive. And so maybe it's my fault for going into the national final expecting something equally impressive. But impressed I am not. So will it qualify? More than likely no. It would take some very clever staging to salvage this one. And even if Laura's live performance is as vivacious and vocally on point and infectiously happy as her performance in the national final, this song, sadly, is almost certainly going to get left behind, especially in a contest as big as this year's, with 42 countries to compete against. I mean, true, it's not going to compete against all 42 other songs in the show itself, but it does have a lot of competition. So if you're listening to it on the CD, you're immediately going to forget about it when you listen to the other songs around that time. If you watch it in the semi-finals, you're going to get lost in the other songs. If it somehow qualifies, it's going to end up towards the lower end of the scoreboard. So, better luck next year, Belgium. And Laura, Miss Tesoro, please don't let this discourage you, because you're a brilliant singer. It's just this song doesn't really work at Eurovision. But I mean, if you can make it work, then more power to you. And so I will say, good luck, Belgium. It's a bold choice, and you didn't really have much to choose from, so you certainly picked the right singer, so give you credit there.